Hey, I'm Ryan Phelan, and you're listening to the Epic Phelan podcast. Today I talked with Alex Saretsky, owner of One for All Fitness. It's a Calgary powerlifting gym. We talked about how powerlifting is for everyone, whether you're 7 years old or 89 years old, and how you can get from I have to go to the gym to I want to go to the gym. All right. Sitting across from me, we have Alex Saretsky. Alex Saretsky is the owner of One for All Fitness.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And if you've ever been to a Stampeders game, Alex here is the world's fastest cow. So I just got to ask you one or two things about that. Between the first and second quarter of a Stamps game, you just like randomly pick some dude to race against?
Basically, how it works is the marketing team will go out and talk to some of the tailgaters and just be like, who wants to race the world's fastest cow? Usually, there are a few drinks deep and they will say yes, but a lot of people will say no. But that's pretty much how they're selected.
You usually blow past them. You give them a head start of some sort?
Yeah, I think the biggest lead has been 40 and the smallest lead has been 5 yards. And I've always made up the lead that I've given.
Crazy. Have you ever raced anybody that's like any notoriety or any?
Brian McGrattan.
Oh, from the Flames?
Yeah. First time we raced, he had a 17-yard lead. He beat me. Second time we raced, we had a rematch. We did it on the goal line. I think I beat him around 12 yards, something like that.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen you race a few times, and a couple times I've seen you race people from the military or service people. And something I thought was kind of cool that the cow did is that you stop at the goal line and you turn around and you give them a salute.
You got to give them some respect. They do a lot for our country, right? So the least I could do is let them win.
There we go. So beyond the cow, you're the owner of One for All Fitness.
Yep, that's right.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So we are a powerlifting gym first, but we're just based around, community first kind of thing. We like to make people feel comfortable when they come in the door. It can be a little bit intimidating because there's some guys lifting some big, huge weights. But I mean, if you talk to anybody there, everybody is nice. Everybody wants to help. Nobody's looking down at you or anything like that. So we strive to make people feel comfortable with the clientele that we have. Like, it is more of an old school box gym where, there's posters on the wall, there's older equipment, but our main focus is to make people feel comfortable, although the atmosphere may not look comfortable.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a gym. You shouldn't you don't want it too comfortable. You want to be moving some weights and.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, one of the things that we do on the show is we do a game while I'm interviewing you. So the game that we've picked out already is a game of dice. One of two different names. One is blue and one is 10,000. So the first person to get to 10,000 wins, and you have to start off and you have to get into the game by getting 1,000 to enter. So we'll let you start because you are my guest.
All right, here we go. Blue.
Oh, okay.
Not a good start.
Not a good start. All right. Blue. All right. So what got you into powerlifting?
Well, when I used to work at a commercial gym, there was a gentleman by the name of Mike Prosco who noticed me lifting some weights, and he was just like, oh, pound for pound, you lift quite a bit of weight. And I never really figured, I was doing anything impressive until I started competing, right? And I was just like, well, okay, I'm kind of keeping up to everyone else who has, 50 to 100 pounds on me. So decided to compete and never kind of look back from there. Basically, it helps me stay motivated, right? Because I just want to lift heavier and heavier as the years go on, right? And I'm pretty competitive, so
So you're competitive, and you said you could lift a pretty heavy weight. Do you have any records yourself, or?
Well, I did have 3 world record strict curls at my body weight. I had it at 60 kgs, 67.5 kgs, and 72.5 kgs, something like that. But yeah, recently my 67.5 kg record has been broken. So I did have it in 3 different weight classes, but who knows? I got Worlds coming up here in November and looking to go beat the record that somebody beat last year. So
Alrighty. So do you have any advice to anybody that wants to get into powerlifting?
honestly, powerlifting is for anybody. I've seen the youngest, maybe 7 years old, to the oldest I've seen is 89 years old. Doesn't matter, how big you are, how small you are, or how young or how old you are. I mean, as long as you have good form, like I said, it's fun, and you just can say, hey, I went to the gym and I lifted 500 pounds, right? I mean, that's kind of cool when you can tell somebody that you did that, right?
You did something big like that. I'm not doing too well here. Blue. I even added a dice in there. All right. How many members do you have in your gym, would you say?
I'd say anywhere in the neighborhood of 150 to 200.
Oh, okay. 200, that's huge.
Yeah, well, it's taken 2 years to build it up, right?
Yeah.
It's not as easy as most people think.
Yeah. All right. One of us are going to get in. That was a 5.
Yeah. Here we go.
There we go.
Oh, man.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question that I ask a lot of people that are guests here. And it's a question very common to ask anybody that lives in Calgary. Where are you from?
Well, I was born in Calgary, but I was living in Cochrane at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was born at the Rocky View Hospital.
Okay.
But yeah, for maybe a year or two, I lived in Cochrane, and then we moved to BC.
Oh, okay.
And I was there for, probably good 7 years. And then we moved back to Calgary, back to Cochrane, and now I'm back in Calgary.
Okay. What would you say is your favorite thing about Calgary? Being a true Calgarian, being born in Calgary, what is your favorite thing about our city?
I've traveled quite a bit, like for football and powerlifting, just sports in general. I find our city is probably the nicest city I've ever been to. Like it's well taken care of. So I would say like it's a beautiful city, and, the people in Calgary are, very nice, right? So, I mean, definitely scenery and, infrastructures and stuff like that.
Being a business owner and being a bit of a workout guru, that doesn't leave you a whole lot of time. So what do you like to do on your time off?
Well, I don't have a lot of time off, but if I were to have some time off, it would be definitely go for walks with the kids, the wife, the dog, right? Try to spend much time with the family as possible. Do play a little bit of football as well, but mostly I like to get away with the family there.
What is something that you like to get out and see in Calgary?
Well, I guess it really would depend on the year or
Time of year,
right?
Absolutely.
I mean, we don't have very many nice months, right? But we are so close to many things too, like, the mountains and stuff like that. But if you were specifically coming to Calgary, I mean, you got the Stampede, of course. But in general, just, everyday Calgary stuff, I think this is a pretty hard question.
I know, right? Okay, so if somebody was looking at getting into powerlifting,
Yep.
They have very little experience, what would you say would be something that they should first do?
Well, I would definitely recommend hiring a coach that, has some experience, right? I mean, there is a lot of commercial gyms out there that will kind of hire anybody just because they have so many customers that need, say, training, right? And they might, have certification, but I mean, it could be a 3-week course or something like that, just to cover them if somebody gets hurt or something down the lines of that, right? I mean, you need somebody that's been there, has the experience, maybe has some records of some sort, right? At our gym, we always offer a free week trial, free session. nutrition, even some FST.
What is FST?
It's fascial stretch therapy.
Okay.
Basically stretching of the muscles, right? So, which I find lots of people don't stretch properly and they have lots of injuries due to, maybe sitting at a desk all day instead of doing something kind of active, right? So I think it ties in well together with the training and the stretching. So
even if they're not maybe looking at powerlifting, what would be like a common mistake that you see people make when they start like looking at going to the gym and getting into shape? Because, we're epic Phelan here. It's like an epic mistake or an epic fail that people often make when they hit the gym.
I think they just go too hard, too fast, and there's not any progression, right? People want to see results right away. And I mean, it might take 2-3 years to put on 100 pounds and people expect to lose it in 2-3 months, right? So I just say patience is the key, right? And slow and steady. Otherwise, if you go too hard, you can get sick, get hurt, or something down the lines of that, right? So trying to be patient is the best thing you can do.
That, and I think often we forget that we look at ourselves every day. We see ourselves in the mirror every day. So when these changes are happening in a slower pace, you might not see them, but if you took a before and an after picture, you would really notice it.
That's huge. And measurements, of course, right? For example, I've had many clients where, train with them for a year and they've lost a pound, but it looks like they've lost 10 pounds, right? I just actually recently had a client who was like disappointed when she saw the scale and she's like, oh, I'm down 1 pound. And we've been training for a year and we've been going really hard, right? And then when I compared the pictures, she's basically in awe because she's like, oh, wow. I mean, I've done really good. I didn't realize how good I actually did, right? Because, I mean, muscle weighs more than fat and people don't really realize that. So the body composition changes.
Yeah. Even like keeping like an old pair of pants is probably a good idea. And then like getting into those and reminding yourself that you're like, oh, look at all the progress that I've made. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
All right, on. What would you say are your biggest challenges in owning a gym, having a family?
Biggest challenge would probably be time management.
A lot of entrepreneurs have that.
Yeah. I mean, things are getting easier these days. I mean, I'm not at the gym, 12 hours anymore. It might be 8 to 10,
Yeah.
Right? But that was really tough getting going. And, people think because you own a business, oh, you're doing well, you're doing good, but you just don't realize the work that's actually been put in place, right? So
absolutely. So for weight loss, you see a lot of people talk about like diet and then cardio versus doing weights.
Well, there's a time and place for, diet, cardio, and weightlifting, right? So, I mean, if you ask me, getting started, cardio is usually a good way of beginning, right? But, weight training, you can work out bigger muscles, you can burn more calories, you can burn more fat, right? The more muscle you have, the better, right? But usually people can be afraid of muscle, but they don't realize how the body will change, right? Diet is 70%, and people just think going to the gym is going to do it. But I mean, like they always say, abs are made in the kitchen, right? So
like that.
Yeah.
Or made at McDonald's, or not made at McDonald's.
Exactly, right? So honestly, another thing too is consistency, right? I mean, people fall off too easily. It's 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 week on, 1 week off, and that's not going to give you any results. You're just basically wasting your time. So, hiring a personal trainer for accountability is huge, right? I mean, 90% of people can work out on their own, but they just are lazy and choose not to, right?
Yeah.
So if you're paying somebody, then you will show up for that session. You will come to the gym, you will work out, and you will see those results, right?
Yeah, someone is going to hold you to account and say, hey, like you haven't been here for a week. What's going on?
Exactly. Like, I mean, I have one client. He started with me about 1.5 years ago. He's 58 now. He started at 231 pounds and he's down to 196 pounds.
Wow, that's amazing.
But this guy he's committed. And how many times do you think he's come into the gym?
I mean, it's probably what, 4 times, 5 times a week?
He's coming 2 times a week. Every Tuesday and every Thursday.
Wow.
But he hasn't missed a Tuesday or Thursday since he started a year and a half ago.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's like 35 pounds of fat or weight scale.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's probably dropped closer to 40, maybe even 45, right? But he has never missed a day. And if, I'm sick or something like that, he will do his homework and he'll make it up. He never misses a day, right? And it shows right there that,
yeah,
they say as you get older, it's harder to lose weight and stuff like that. But as long as you're consistent, and his diet hasn't even changed much really either, right? No. But as long as you're in the gym and you're going every day and you can get that metabolism firing, you're going to lose weight.
I was going to ask about that because, definitely an age thing where people start to think, well, I shouldn't be going to the gym because I'm, 50, 60.
Honestly, that's the best time to go to the gym because as you get older, your bones get weaker and they need the exercise to stay strong and limber, right? I mean, like I was talking earlier, there's a 89-year-old powerlifter by the name of Joe.
89?
Yeah, and he's about 145 pounds, but he walks around like he's 16 years old. The way he's just so fluent with his body, you would never know. Like if he had a hat on and you would just think, oh, this is some young guy in the gym. And he deadlifts 440 pounds right now. He squats around 200 and he benches around 160.
That's madness.
And he's 89 and weighs 145 pounds. So,
wow.
You know how they always say, like back in the day, it's just like, don't lift, you're going to get hurt. But if anything, it's going to strengthen your bones, help you with your flexibility. And if you do have a fall, I mean, it's probably going to be less rehab or less chance of injury. So
yeah, right on.
I mean, I have actually a lot of older clients, and I did have one client go to the dog park. She's 73, maybe 74 now, and she fell and broke her wrist, but she had a easy recovery, right? Where maybe someone else her age wouldn't have had such a good recovery, right? So I think staying in the gym, just staying fit, even if it's once, twice, 3 times a week, you're doing something, right? It's good for your head too, releases endorphins. But I don't know, some people just get lazy or just work too much or something like that, right?
So I see powerlifting is becoming more and more popular, but also it was sort of before that, you kept seeing CrossFit, all this stuff about CrossFit. And I think sometimes people can get the two confused.
Yeah, that's correct. The difference between powerlifting and CrossFit is more like strict movements, I'd say. Less chance of injury because you're not combining a bunch of exercises together. I'm not bashing CrossFit or anything, but depending on your coach and your physical ability, sometimes you're put in a class where you got to keep up to somebody else, and that's when you push too hard. And
some of us are competitive like that.
Exactly.
And don't limits, yeah.
And that's where you get hurt, right? Or think you can do something when you can't, and because you used to do it or something like that. And then, like egos, and that's kind of what happens sometimes. And you hear a lot of injuries with CrossFit. That's why a lot of people have been leaning away from it these days, right? So nothing against CrossFit, but like myself, I kind of like the strict movements myself.
Personal preference.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what would be some advice that you would give to somebody that was looking to really get into shape? Like myself, for example, I know I'm a bad example because I'm a workaholic and how much I've been to the gym, and it should be. Yeah. Yeah. So what is some advice that you'd give somebody?
Make it fun, right?
Yeah.
Do things that you like, right? I mean, if you're going to the gym and you're doing cardio and you hate it, maybe lift some weights instead, right? Set a goal. Goals are huge. If you set a goal, then that gives you something to work towards, right? If you just show up and expect the results, sometimes that's just not enough. Headspace is good too, right? I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, I got to go to the gym today. It should be more like, I get to go to the gym today.
Yeah, that's
Right?
absolutely.
And I mean, 1 hour a day is 4% of your day, right? So, I mean,
So one of the things that I've noticed myself is that before my life as a realtor, I worked at my family's business, and I'd run and I'd do warehouse stuff, and I'd come up the front and serve customers. I'd be back and forth. I'd be lifting boxes, and I'd be like all day long. And I was almost working out. And then I'd also go to the gym, where now I look at it and I'm like, I'm sitting behind a desk for way too long. Do you suggest like going to like doing like a midday workout or end of the day workout, or what? Is there something that somebody that has like an office job should be doing?
well, there's tons of boot camps always going around or classes at gyms. Kind of helps break up the day as well. So yeah, if you can escape for an hour at lunch or something down the lines of that, or it'd be kind of nice if most environments would endorse working out just for your lifestyle and just so that you can get further in life at work, right? Like, I mean, they should take into account your health if you work for them, because they want you to stick around for a while, right? I mean, I think they should have more write-offs for you, like you could bring your receipts.
Yeah, incentive, like
yeah,
incentive.
some sort of incentive. Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good thing. I think there should be more government incentive for people to work out and live healthy.
Yeah, and I feel Canada does do an okay job, and fit is kind of in, where I mean, you might go to another country and see a lot of overweight people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do think Canada is in more of a wannabe fit country. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you see powerlifting growing like exponentially? Do you see it like becoming a lot more popular, or?
I wouldn't say a lot more popular, but it's definitely steadily growing, right? I mean, we've never had worlds here for 100% raw, and it's going to be held here at Winsport on October 3rd to the 6th. And usually it's like in the States and stuff like that. I mean, there's a couple different federations, but I know our federation, I don't think has ever held worlds here in Calgary, so, or even in Canada. So I could be wrong. Could be in Ontario, maybe.
So that would suggest that there's like a lot more interest in it than there has been in the past.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that's kind of interesting.
So Alex, again, been living in Calgary your whole life. What would be your favorite community in Calgary?
To tell you the truth, I don't have a favorite community. If you're Calgarian, that's good enough for me,
that's
right?
Good enough for me, right?
I mean, I get along with everybody in all communities, and that's why our slogan is community first, right? I mean, I guess that's my answer.
What would you be looking for then in your next home if you were to be purchasing a home? What would be like a feature that you would absolutely have to have?
A little bit of land would be nice. I'm not going to lie. I kind of think Langdon would be nice, even though it's not in Calgary, right? But a little bit of land, a little bit more room. I mean, we're growing as a family. We have 2 daughters right now, a dog, 1 more child on the way.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. So, I mean, a little more room would be quite ideal.
Yeah, you're gonna need it.
Yeah.
So saying that, if you were looking at a realtor, what would make, in your eyes, an epic realtor?
Well, I'm staring at that epic realtor right now. I mean, you did bend over backwards for us, and we put you through a lot of hoops, and you definitely helped us find a home that would a nice starter home to get us going. And who knows, in a couple of years, we can get into that bigger home that we're looking for, and we'll be calling on you again.
Happy to help you. You're definitely VIP clients. You're definitely an awesome family, and love y'all. So right on. Is there anything with your gym that you would like to promote? So you have Worlds coming up on the 3rd. Yeah,
we've got a powerlifting team out of there called Powerhouse. We have a Facebook group of about 100 members or so, and it's pretty interesting to see half of our team is going to Worlds and are strong enough to qualify for Worlds. So I'll be coaching a few of them, and I will be competing myself. So be looking forward to that, right? So when you train for something like powerlifting, I know when you train for a marathon or whatever, they say you should be out every day doing it.
But from like, and this is just me in the old school gym mentality where you just do your chest and buys one day and you do this day and that day. How many times a week are you going into the gym for powerlifting?
It's about 4 to 5 days. I usually have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, take Thursday off, Friday, Saturday, take Sunday off. So I'll be squatting and benching and deadlifting. Well, squatting is about 2-3 times a week. Deadlifting will be about twice a week, and bench will be 3 to 4 times.
Okay.
But variations of weight, of course, volume versus, max effort kind of lifts, accessories as well, right? Things that just help the lift. I'm not doing like the bench press, regular 4 times that week, but I'll be doing like, say, incline press or maybe some board work or some negatives or something just to help that lift.
Okay. So yeah, because I remember like back in the day, it was like you work out like one body part and then you're not really working that body part for another week. I heard recently there was like another workout guy, I can't remember who it was that I was listening to, but he was saying how instead of like doing 3 sets of 10, so 30 bench presses in one day and then like waiting almost a whole week before you do it again, he's like, I'd rather do 10 reps every day for 7 days, and then I've done 70 rather than doing 30.
Yeah, well, I mean, it really depends on your recovery as well, right?
Yeah.
And how much weight you're lifting, like the percentage of your, say, 1 max rep.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be going heavy every day, but if you throw some variations in there and lighter weights, you're definitely okay, right? As long as you get proper rest, sleep, or stretching. Supplements help too, right?
And probably like a solid plan from somebody that knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's for sure, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie, I didn't know what I was doing 8 years ago, right? I mean, I was lifting heavy, every week and wondering why I wasn't getting stronger.
Yeah.
So I did some research and figured it out, right?
So strength and size don't necessarily correlate with each other.
Well, I mean, we have a system called Wilks, which determines pound for pound, how strong you are, say 150-pound man versus a 300-pound man. And I mean, the 150-pound man could lift maybe 500 pounds, but the 300-pound man does, say, 750. The pound for pound ratio, the formula that they have is the littler guy is actually stronger, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, by far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What would you say to women that wanted to get healthy and wanted to get into shape? A lot of the women that I talk to are afraid of lifting weights because they don't want to get bulky.
Well, what's funny? I've noticed women actually kind of taking over the powerlifting sport.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the meets used to be 70-30, 70% men, 30% women, but now it's getting closer to 50-50 and sometimes even more. Like, I mean, last competition we won, because they have team trophies and stuff like that. We won because of our women. We had a strong following of women at our gym, and they all look great. I mean, you'd be surprised how much weight they lift, and you wouldn't say they're bulky and butch or whatever you want to say, because I mean, muscle will lean you out if you kind of do it properly, right?
Yeah, I find that that's a huge misconception.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And I find it's not so bad anymore. I think people are talking about it enough, and you're seeing memes on the internet, and people are realizing that that's just basically a myth, right? I mean, women don't have testosterone like men do, where they can build muscle a lot easier, right? So that's the one difference right there.
Right on. If you were to promote your business, so give you a chance to promote your business, give it a shout out, and if anybody wants to come in and check it out.
Okay, well, I mean, we offer a free week trial. We're off of Blackfoot and 42nd. We're in the southeast. There is a Cocoa Brooks Pizza that everyone kind of knows about. We're just down the road from there.
So right after you've trained, right after you did your cardio, hit up Cocoa Brooks.
I'm not going to lie, they got some good pizza there.
Yeah.
I mean, it might keep me in business.
Yeah, exactly.
People going over there needing to come back and get fit. I mean, it doesn't help that we're situated by a bakery and 2 catering companies as well now.
Oh, wow.
So it always smells good at the gym. I probably shouldn't be saying that.
It's a workout for your willpower.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Right
more
on.
mental than anything.
So absolutely give Alex Saretsky a shout at One for All Fitness. And thank you for coming. We didn't get really into our game too much. So that's where, hey, epic Phelan, you never know what's going to happen. We failed at completing the game. But until next time, Alex, we'll challenge you again.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Right on, buddy. Thanks again for listening to Epic Phelan. If you like what you hear, be sure to subscribe, give me a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at RealRyanPhelan, and visit my website at www.thecalgaryrealestateguy.com. Until next time, stay epic.